you vote or you don't vote, a leader has emerged and is going to govern you. So it is better to just vote and vote for the person of your mind, and peradventure the person wins, then your desire becomes achieved at the end of the day. So that's the way to go.
Passage of the Electoral Act 2022 Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2026 again remained inconclusive yesterday, Tuesday, as the Senate stalled on a decision after spending over 4 hours considering the report of the 7-man ad hoc committee behind closed doors. Now, the upper chamber had commenced deliberation on the consolidated report of the committee, which was constituted last week to collate and also harmonize lawmakers' contribution on the Electoral Act 2022 Repeal and Reenactment Bill. Now, before dissolving to a closed-door section to review the document, however, upon reconvening, the Senate President, Godswill Pablo, declined to comment on the outcome of the deliberation, effectively adjourning plenary to the next legislative day. Now, last week, if you recall, the Senate constituted a 7-man committee to collate, harmonize, and distill lawmakers' contribution and opinions on the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2026 with a mandate to present a consolidated report to the chamber yesterday, Tuesday. The decision followed over 2 hours of consideration of the bill provision during a closed-door section. Now, the question is, will this delay affect the smooth running of the electoral umpire, and why is the upper chamber not yet ready to give Nigerians the required repeal and reform as it concerns the Electoral Act? Just as much as Nigerians ponder on this, even ready, or really how ready is INEC, knowing that the election is just over a year from now? Well, this and more as it concerns the elections and the electoral umpire is what this edition of Dialogue is all about. And we're talking about the 2027 general election preparation and readiness thus far. That's what we're having as a major discourse today on Dialogue. We're talking about the 2027 general election preparedness and readiness thus far. And to help us talk about this, we have no other person but an electoral observer. And we're talking of no other person but Comrade Edewor Egedegbe. You know, he's a human capital development practitioner and, funny enough, the executive director of the Value with Bets Center and director of studies also of that very great center. And funny enough, also, he's the coordinator of the Transition Monitoring Group Delta State Steering Committee. Well, I really need to welcome you to this show. Well, good morning and welcome to it.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Well, anyway, I want us to really dive into the issue. We will not delay, just like the Senate delayed yesterday in its deliberation of the proposed amendment to the Electoral Act 2022. Are you comfortable with this delay? And in your own honest assessment, and I know you're also wrapping your head around to see why the delay. In your own assessment, why do you feel they are dragging their feet as it concerns the enactment and also repeal of some of those proposed parts of that very Electoral Act?
Okay, for me, like many Nigerians, we are not happy with the unusual delay, coming from the upper chamber of the National Assembly. But though I am not surprised, particularly speaking, because the 10th Senate have been very wonderful, in quotes, in their own response to the issues that concerns Nigerians.
Okay.
But if it concerns them, they do with the speed of light. But if it concerns Nigeria, they could afford to have all the delays here and there. So I'm not particularly surprised. But that also calls for a retrospect by the Nigerian people. You know, what I usually tell people is that, yes, whereas you have your right to your action, the consequence of the action are beyond you. So that's what I have for the current Senate with their dilly-dallying approach to addressing this all-important repeal/reenactment bill of the Electoral Act 2022. I do not see any reason why almost 3 years down the line, not much has been achieved. Even while the House of Reps have been able to come up with some mind-blowing, recommendations to that extent, the Senate is dragging its foot. So it's very worrisome, and I believe Nigerians should come up and tongue-lash them, if you permit me to use that phrase, tongue-lash them and let them know that Nigerians are getting fed up by the day by their antics, trying to delay what will better the generality of Nigeria. But when it comes to their personal, aggrandizement, they don't waste time. But Nigerians are much in a hurry to see that their plight matters the most for anybody holding any public office in trust for the Nigerian people.
Now, anyway, on the mind, you've expressed your disappointment with the delay, especially after 3 years after the elections. And funny enough, just under a year now before we have the next general election. Would you have any clue why the delay? On the mind, you're a bit disappointment. Any clue on it?
It's not connected with their fears of 2027. Because Nigerians are getting more sophisticated. Believe it or take it or leave it. Nigerians are getting more wiser by the day. Thank God for the coming of social media that has helped to close the gap that comes with, uninformed minds that pervade our space. But today, social media has brought everybody close. So so they are afraid of 2027, and they want to also now work with the 2022, electoral act, so that they could also manipulate their way. But with those amendments we are looking at, it will be very difficult for such manipulations that happen in 2023 general election. So their delay will not be unconnected with possibly not passing this amendment, so that we can now go back with the 2022 electoral act to conduct 2027 elections. So I believe that's their game plan. But that's why I'm calling on Nigerians to prevail on them. Let them be tongue glass beginning from today. Now they've adjourned plenarity today. So by the outcome of today, if they refuse to do the needful, Nigerians will call them out. Nigerians will call them out. From the civil society, we'll call them out back to back. Last week, the civil society were at the National Assembly to call for the immediate, that beyond this week, if that bill is not passed, that amendment is not passed this week, then we are running short of time. Because once it is passed, it will now be forwarded after the clean copy is generated from the National Assembly. Then it will be forwarded to Mr. President, and Mr. President will want to look at it, get the Attorney General to advise him, whether it's good to
go. So it will definitely consume time.
It will consume time, believing that the whole of this February may even go if it is passed this week. And if it's not passed this week, that is encroaching into the time. Don't forget, by the Electoral Act 2022, you have to announce the date of election a year before. A year, 12 months before the election is conducted. This is already February. And by the 2022 Electoral Act, it's been slated for February 2027 for election. So if February is out and the new Electoral Act is not there, because the new Electoral Act, we are proposing that election should hold sometime in November. So if all of that happens, then where are we? So which is why we are worried, more worried. I do not see any reason why the National Assembly should go on that long vacation that kept them at home in the whole of January. Most part of December and the whole of January. What are they doing? What are they doing? When Mr. President submits the annual budget to the National Assembly, they come back from their recess to address it. Why can't they do same for a critical, a bill before the Assembly that can address a whole lot of happenings in our political landscape in this country? So it's very worrisome that our National Assembly, particularly the Senate, are dilly-dallying with the future of this country.
Okay, now you talked about some proposed amendments, and I want us to look at these proposed amendments, especially as it concerns the 2022 Electoral Act. Now, top on the agenda of the Senate on what they want to repeal and enact is the issue of the transmission of results. Now, if you look at that very section, what it gave was whoever would be transmitting it an option to either transfer electronically, or if there might be hitches, will do that in a different way that he or she feels needs to be done. But with this proposed amendment, it gives the umpire direct and mandatory transmission of results electronically. Now, I want us to look at that very section. Are you comfortable with this reenactment? Because the reason I'm asking you this, you would agree with me that we still have issues as it concerns connectivity when it comes to network providers. That's always a major problem, especially when you go to some of these communities that are in the hinterland. So is that proposed amendment ripe enough for Nigeria at this time?
It's more than ripe. It's more than ripe. Let's not always make excuses for what we give room to the charlatans to always have their way. Let's also take it to them. Let them know that it's game up.
Okay.
It's no longer game as usual. So I say it's right because, yes, once it is mandatory for the presiding officer to, transmit the collated result, the already counted and assessed result at the polling unit. Once it becomes mandatory, then it becomes mandatory. As long as a card reader can work at that place, it should also be able to transmit from that point. Also, because it is mandatory, the polling agents, the agents of political parties will have direct access to that same result at the polling unit.
Okay.
Let them have result. Let them have access
all the political agents.
All the political agents, party agents. So once that happens, we are saying that there should be no more collation at the local government level.
Okay. So just direct transmission.
Direct transmission. Because it is collation at the local government level that has caused all of the problems we have had in terms of collating of results.
Okay.
I've been on this since 2003. Following up elections, monitoring, and of course evaluating at the end of the day. I will send recommendations as civil society to the national, to INEC, and of course to all that cares over time. And that's why we are saying that the best way to, abridge these shenanigans each time is get the result announced at the polling unit and transmit to the IREP portal from there. And once that is done, then manipulation at the collation level, what collation center will be out of it. Once that is out of it, the outcome of our result, our elections will be much more acceptable globally than the make-believe and makeshift arrangement that we do each time. So it's possible. Let it be mandatory. A presiding officer that fails to transmit face the penalty that comes with it.
But are you not also scared about the issue of connectivity?
Yes, connectivity. Now, if you ask me, once it is made mandatory, if you send that document and because there's no network,
it hangs like our local way. It
hangs. But when you get into network, it goes through. So the time you sent it is showing on your own device. It's showing there. So it's proving that you send it at that material time. Then it takes you some minutes or hours to get to a network area. Then it transmits.
But you've already sent it.
You've sent it. And perhaps also the agents of those political parties have the same result that you have sent. So it will not be easy to be manipulated. But when you give a caveat that so when you get to the collation center, you cannot transmit. You have given room for the charlatans, as I call them, to now have their free day. But when you put an end to that rule, then there is no access. So it's still workable.
Okay.
It's still workable.
Now talking about still more as it concerns repeal and reenactment of that Electoral Act 2022 as amended, I want us to look at another major one. And one I want us to look at is Section 88, subsection 2 to 7, that talks about the issue of campaign spending and funding. Now, in this proposed act, they are trying to increase that for Mr. President from 5 billion to 10 billion. Governors from 1 billion to about 3 billion. And also for the Senate, close to 100 to about, maybe close to about 500 or so. Now, are you concerned about an increase in campaign funding? Because the reason I'm asking this, yes, things have changed. Since 2023 till now, the Naira has fallen, has been devalued. Not only that things are pretty expensive than they used to be, but in all of it, we do know that Nigerians are kicking against monetization of our electoral process. Now, with this proposed amendment, not bring about monetization of our electoral process, increase in campaign funding and spending.
For me, that's a very worrisome dimension into our political equation in this country. And it's orchestrated by those few characters who wants to perpetuate themselves in power in perpetuity. Now, they want to raise the stake so that people who have the interests of Nigerians at heart cannot even access such funds. That's the simple reason. That's the simple reasons. If not, and we keep complaining that we've not grown to have independent candidate. Why? Why? If there is provision for independent candidates in our electoral process, all of these things will come to an end. Where the people can determine and queue behind whoever they believe in, then it will be off. So, increasing the volume of money that you can use to campaign, for me, is very worrisome. It's so worrisome. However, my appeal is to the Nigerian electorate. Let us stop being money mongers. Politicians will deny you your due for 3.5 years, having gotten into office, either by hook or crook. They will further deny you your patrimony for 3.5 years. So, in the 6 months prelude to the election, you see them come in droves. They go to party. They come to burials. They come pay unscheduled visit to you. And you think these people are doing you any good. They are not doing you any good. They've calculated and they've seen that, yes, they want to come and now throw themselves at you so you can say, oh, this man is a good man. That has been their own antics. And Nigerian citizens are always gullible. They are falling into these antics each time. That's why it's worrisome to me as an individual. Which is why I'm also saying that, look, we must remain conscientized to the point that we know that it's our responsibility to bequeath for ourselves a leadership that minds, that cares for us. And not this money-monging thing when, oh, they come throw some pittance, at us, do some empowerment, as they call it, which is not really empowerment, but disempowerment in my own view, then you think that, oh, they have done all. They've done so much that they deserve another tenure. And let me also tell you, they do that just to show off some level of popularity, for the optics. Not in real terms now. So, can we now also devise a means as citizens, as the electorate, by also calling a spade and say enough is enough? Politicians in 2023, they were scared for their life. When you saw what transpired in 2023 election, you know that politicians were scared for their life. And many didn't come back. Particularly at the National Assembly. You saw that many didn't return. Especially with the Peter Obi factor that came in 2023. And so they are afraid of a repeat. They are afraid of a repeat. Which is why you see that there is so much attention in not, giving a possible passage to the Electoral Act. The Repeal and the Reenactment Act. So it is deliberate. All those frustration, those, backstepping here and there, those antics, is calculated to see that the process is frustrated, so they can also now go back and work with that 2022 Electoral Act as amended. So, but once Nigerians say no, this bill must be passed and must be given assent, I don't see them having their way. Rather, I see Nigerians having their way if we are able to. Because for the civil society, we are ready to occupy the National Assembly until the right thing is done.
Well, talking about the right thing, that's what we're having as our major discourse today. We're looking at the general elections that is scheduled to hold just over a year from now.
Yes.
If everything goes well, especially with the repeal and reenactment of the 2022 Electoral Act that is being, or rather, that is already in the floor of the red chambers. And we're still looking at why the delay, why the dilly-dally, especially as it concerns reenactment of that very bill. But anyway, as much as we're looking at that, like I said, we're still looking at the 2027 general elections, preparedness, and not only that, how really ready is the electoral umpire in also conducting that election to make it free, fair, and also credible for all Nigerians to see. But talking about what we're seeing, like I said, we're looking at everything that really concerns the electoral umpire and also what might in every way affect the credibility of the elections come 2027. And talking about that very credibility, just recently, which is a question I would love to ask you. Now, the Supreme Council for Sharia in Nigeria has come out to say, they said so just under a week ago, that they would not recognize any election conducted by no other but the INEC chairman, Ahmed Piton, on account of his, like they said, biased tone he used in an article claiming there was Christian genocide in Nigeria. Hence, they would not recognize any election he conducts. Now, I'm a bit curious to get your thought as it concerns this reaction. But is that a yardstick to judge whether an election is free and fair, knowing that undermining he's the umpire of the commission is a process by law that needs to be done? Well, your reactions to all of it?
For me, it's laughable.
Laughable, you say?
It's laughable by the authors of such what I call propaganda.
Okay.
It's just a propaganda to blackmail INEC and, of course, the Nigerian state. It's a sheer laughable propaganda that is coming from that quarter. Like you mentioned, Nigeria is a state that is governed by laws, and sentiments does not have any place when it comes to law and order. So the law of Nigeria states that, yes, INEC is the umpire that conducts election. Whether you like the chairman of the INEC or you like the REC or whoever is appointed is irrelevant. But they are mandated, they are under obligation by the mandate of the Nigerian constitution for them to do their job. It's either you like it or you don't like it, but it does not change that face, that stand. So that's why I say it's laughable. It's a sheer blackmail to hoodwink the system into possibly doing their bidding. But the system is the system. It's either you conform or the system will tame you. That's what it is. For me, even trying to discuss that conversation is even giving them more attention that they don't deserve in my own liking, because a particular religion should not have a larger than life a mentality. It shouldn't be. It should not be. Nigeria is a state that has different religions. The Christian, the Muslim, the Hindus, and even, of course, the traditional religion. They are all part of religion. And when you say the right to life, all of us have that equal right to life, equal right to religion, to freedom of association, freedom of opinion, and all of it. So it's an inalienable right that we all have. So you don't use your own right now to infringe on my own right by trying to take a stand that is counter to the laws of the land. It does not work, and it will not also work, no matter whoever is peddling that what I consider as sheer propaganda.
Okay, well, anyway, as much as you doubt the sincerity of that statement coming from the Supreme Council of Sharia in Nigeria, I know you will not doubt the issue of the e-registration being conducted by INEC. And that's where I want us to go. In your own assessment, are you satisfied with the process thus far? I'm talking about the e-registration. You remember it started on the 18th of August when it was my online registration of last year. Now even metamorphosed into the issue of self-recognition towards the 25th of August. And we do know that this very exercise will end on the 30th of August of this year. But undermining it's a bit still a far off the way. I want your reaction as it concerns the registration thus far. Are you in every way comfortable with it? Do Nigerians really within the age of 18 and above, and those that seem to have lost their address, are you really comfortable with the level of registration? Because another reason I asked, thus far, in the very first few weeks of our registration, we had about 7.4 million persons registered. But now it's not as rosy as that. So let me get your thoughts or your brain on this very issue.
Okay, thank you.
Let's look at the registration thus far.
Yeah, for the registration, I'm not satisfied.
Okay.
And I know many Nigerians also are not satisfied with the outcome of the registration. The reason is this. I spoke in a sister station yesterday on this same topic, and I mentioned the fact that whereas INEC will be quick to shun out policies and, of course, programs, they don't follow them through.
Okay.
And majority of some of their programs and policies are not, born out of a well-researched and data-collated responses.
Okay.
So they just do it as they are routine thing. Oh, the circle has come, we just need to go. Oh, because so many people have spoken about this, so we just need to go.
Okay.
They don't do a proper data analysis of what will really work for them per time, which is why the outcome is not really meeting the expectations of Nigeria. Now, why do I say this? I say this because, one, you are talking about e-registration. And e-registration has to dwell decisively on network provision.
Yes.
Now, I come from the riverine area of Delta State, for instance, the coastal area. What accessibility to those areas is not there. The network is not even found in majority of those areas. Now you are now bringing an e-registration process that people do not have network, neither do they even have access to those places. And you are giving a time frame that will not even be able to have 10% of people, harvested in that process. Which is why I said, whereas they are quick to shun out policies and programs, the full proof of such programs is not really accompanying with it. Now, breaking it down, why the process lasted for last year from August to December before the new one that kicked off 2 days ago now. You go to your INEC local government office, network will be down for days. So people will travel from far, because some of these local government, some communities travel up to some 2-3 hours, 4 hours to get to the headquarters to be captured. Now, you only to get there and there is no network to capture you. And it's at your expense. You pay huge transport to come and go. How many people will have time to do that?
To come back again.
So that's why I said, if they do proper data collation of what can work from the previous failures, then will be much better.
Okay.
For instance, they've given 50 days now for the machine to move from the local government headquarters in this second phase now to the registration area, that is the ROAs. Now, in these ROAs, you have just one machine. They have two machines at the local government INEC office. So they are leaving one, stationing one at the INEC headquarters office. Then one to rove. In my local government, Ughelli South, for instance, we have 11 wards. And you have 50 days for this exercise, for the machine to rove. So 50 days divided by 11. And out of those 50 days, you remove the Saturdays and Sundays.
It's really two or nothing.
So it's just not there. How many people can you cover? How many wards can you cover? And in my local government, for instance, we have 72 communities. 72 communities. So that means 50 days is not even enough to go around. It's a day per community. It will not go around. So are you telling me that some communities that are larger, that you have more than 10 voting units? So these are some of the issues that I believe that INEC is not really doing it properly well to my own mind. And I believe I'm speaking in mind of many Nigerians on this subject. So I think that though all of those plans and programs were orchestrated by demand that have left INEC. So I believe with the Yawata that has come in, should see this, because that was what I said yesterday in my presentation, that the Yawata should learn from all of the failures of his predecessors, so he can come with something that is new, that is speaking to the needs and the yearnings of the people, and not just do things for the optics. It's not enough to talk on television and tell us that, oh, you have done X, Y, Z, and when you go to the feed, you don't see those things as such. So it's worrisome, and I think that a more pragmatic approach should happen with INEC in this ongoing process. And I say this to add that after these 50 days, let there be a continuous process of taking this thing another maybe 50 days again, giving it 100 days, so that we can have our people who are voting age got captured. And a lot of people have registered online.
Yeah.
They've registered online. But to now get to be captured, that's where network will come. And once network comes, you have, some of our community will have over 200 people who have already registered online. But to now go and get captured now physically, you need the network to capture the person.
To print.
To print, so that it can be uploaded. So all of this back and forth must be addressed by INEC, so we can get a better outcome of the process.
Okay, well, we're still talking about the process. In case you're joining us, yes, it's a dialogue, and today we're looking at the 2027 general election. How prepared is INEC, and some of the major contending issues that might in every way reduce or in every way affect the credibility of this very forthcoming election. All of that is what we're looking at right here on Dialogue. Like I said, we still have no other person but Comrade Edewor Egedegbe. You know, he's of the Value Rebet, and also not only that, but the chairperson of the committee monitoring group, transition monitoring group, right here in Delta State. Now, you just talked about you're not really satisfied with the outcome thus far, especially as it concerns preparation. Now, there's this slight discussion that many are already having at the background, saying that is the INEC chairman a bit too slow? Are you comfortable with the pace things are as it concerns the empire? Or do you feel they are really also being too slow and dragging their feet as it concerns it? So let's look at the whole exercise itself under the leadership of Amotupon. Are you surprised? Are you happy? Are you comfortable? Do you feel he's not too gingered and helping to push the process forward? Let's look at his era thus far.
Yes, in fairness, yes, I will agree with the school of thought that say it's slow. It's truly slow. It's coming for almost 2-3 months now.
Yeah.
In the saddle. And I've not gotten a clear-cut, statement direction from him. I've not seen. And with my engagement as a civil society practitioner, if I'm not so much aware of what he's doing, then I wonder the local man who is not even
ordinary Nigerian,
who is not very keen about
the
elections has been, judging from the past. So I expected that at least 1 month into the office, he would have been able to see what has happened. He's been in Nigeria. He's been seeing the INEC issue all along, and now you are made to man that agency of government. So he should have come up with a clear cut, because when he was being screened, he told us how he's going to do things here and there. So we should have seen those things being reeled out, as in the programming of INEC under his leadership. Don't forget that I'm aware that about 8 to 10 rec will be retiring in the coming days.
Yeah.
And federal commissioners, yes, their tenure are ending. So new people will be coming in. But if there are programs already, rewrote.
But don't you feel that's why he's delaying?
He shouldn't delay as a result. That's what I'm saying. He shouldn't delay, because the head.
To have all these old persons leave the stage, yes, have new brains, new hands come on board. So because anything he does now with the old ones will look as if it's invalid when the new ones come in.
No, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be, because it's a government. Government is a continuum. Okay. Which is why tell the people, this and this is what I'm going to do at this level. This is what I'm going to do at this level.
Okay.
As empowered by the law. Yeah. Then you put it there. Whoever comes, follow that footstep. That's the way it works in other clients. I do not know why Nigerians are always taking the back seat when it comes to implementing programs and policies of government. So I expect him, in the coming days, let him reel out his programs, putting in mind, or bearing in mind, the passage of the repeal or the reenactment electoral acts that we are looking forward to. Yeah. Just in case that doesn't work. If we are working by the 2022 electoral act, let these programs be out. But if there's a change, then you just tweak those things that needed change, and not to wait. Just waiting and waiting will just be pushing us, in too dangerous a way to go. We can't afford to do that. So he should wake up, he agreed to take the job and he has taken the job. Let him do the job. Let him do the job. Nigerians are in a hurry to have a better electoral outcome this time around. Don't also forget that in this reenactment act that is before the National Assembly that they are dilly-dallying over, there is an amendment that is so germane there that talks about all pre-election litigations must end
within a certain period.
Within a certain period before swearing in.
Yeah.
Nobody will now use state money to now, prosecute electoral matters again. That's captured in this amendment. Those are some of the things that they are frustrating. Because when they ring themselves into office, they use government money, government office money to prosecute their cases. And those who win elections will now be at their mercy. And another very, clinical amendment that is there is also that the burden of proof is going to rest on INEC now. Not on the mere man who lost, who presumed to have been lost by INEC.
Yeah.
So INEC will now come and defend the person they have announced. All of those are the amendment. So they are finding this very difficult to grapple with.
Okay.
Which is why I believe the National Assembly, particularly the Senate, are ensuring that they delay this thing so that it does not come to fruition before 2027.
Well, anyway, time is really well spent, and time is not a friend. We've been having this discussion for close to almost 50 minutes. But yeah, I still have two major questions to ask you. Now, if you take your mind back to 2022, around the same time, a year before the general elections of 2023, there was intense excitement in the air. Yeah, you made mention of the coming of the Labour Party candidate, Peter Obi, as one of those reasons there was excitement. But my question is, that seems not to be the case now. That same excitement that was there in 2022, funny enough, in 2026, a year before the 2027 election, that kind of excitement seems not to be in the air now. So my question is, are Nigerians weary of our electoral process? Or do you feel the disappointment that greeted a large portion of them in 2023 have not left their mind? Or do you feel they are just not any more interested in the election? So let's understand why that excitement seems not to be there. Or let me not even take the discussion out of your mouth. Are Nigerians excited in 2027 elections?
No, it's a yes or no for me.
A yes or no?
It's a yes or no.
Okay.
Yes, for patriotic Nigerians, we should be excited.
Okay.
Because it's another opportunity to elect the next set of leaders. No, for those who feel disgruntled.
Okay.
Yes, with the outcome of 2023 general elections. Yes, it's also their right to feel so. That's why I said it's a yes or no response. Now, yes, because it is our civic duty. Chapter 2, sections 24 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, places a responsibility on us, as citizens, to ensure we support every lawful engagement of the government.
Okay.
It's our responsibility to do so.
Okay.
So to that extent, it's our civic responsibility to vote and be voted for. It's our civic responsibility to participate in the electionary process. It's not an option thing, as it were.
Okay.
It is your responsibility as a citizen
to
vote and be voted for.
Okay.
But when you now decide not to vote, it becomes your choice. But the Constitution has provided for you that nothing must trample upon you doing that. So, to that extent, we should be excited that another cycle is coming.
Okay.
And we should be preparing towards it. Then for those who are disgruntled by the outcome, I urge them to stop being disgruntled.
Okay.
Because whether you are angry with the outcome of the past or not will not change anything. Rather, it is from that anger you take a step of patriotism to now say, look, I will punish those people
for their inactiveness.
I will punish those people who cause us this pain, depending on what he sees.
Okay.
Then you now come out, you now cast your franchise for somebody that you think that is better suited. This is how we can get out of it, and not being angry and refusing to do the needful. So I urge Nigerians to be interested, to participate, Because as a privileged pastor, in the churches where I'm privileged to talk to people, I tell them, it is our responsibility. Because the Bible admonishes us to respect law and order, to obey every lawful authority. So, if that is so, why not we participate as Christians? Not let nobody tell you that Christians should not participate. If the outcome of election is what is going to govern Christian alongside those who are not Christian, why would I not be a participant to determine who governs us? The people deserve the leader they get. You vote or you don't vote, a leader has emerged and is going to govern you. So it is better to just vote and vote for the person of your mind, and peradventure the person wins, then the desire becomes a sheep at the end of the day. So that's the way to go. Shying away from taking those responsibilities will not help us any further. But let's all join hands together to see that we build a Nigeria of our dream.
Well, anyway, before that comes into reality, I'll need to tell you we really exhausted our time, and the time for us to do this also, to thank you so very much for spending time with us. And I'm talking of no other person, but you do know him as Comrade Edewor Egedegbe. Like I told you, he's of the Value Rebate Center. And not only that, the coordinator of the Transition Monitoring Group, Delta State Steering Committee, member side-by-side movement, and you've just added one to it.
Yes, the coordinator of Male Feminist Network in the South.
Well, anyway, a lovely one. But we'll tell you, it's lovely to have had you here with us, and we always would employ that, just like Oliver Twist, we'll seek for your hand and also seek for your knowledge as it concerns what really is worrying us. I do understand your passion for the elections and how much you feel more needs to be done by every Nigerian to do the right thing and indeed also cast in the right persons to govern us. Thank you so much for your time.
It's always my pleasure.
Well, for me, it's more like a wrap on the show today. You do know I will always emphasize the discussion does not end here. Come on, it doesn't. Let's have your reactions, you sharing them, and also liking them on our different social media platforms. They were there and will soon be there again on your screen, so you can at least follow us, like, and also comment on all we do. Not just this interesting topic we've had, talking about the preparation of the electoral umpire before the elections that comes up in 2027, less than a year. Well, anyway, many are saying more needs to be done. So please do us the needful. Send your comments, send your questions, send your reaction as it concerns this. I'll be more than happy to oblige you. Now, talking about obliging you, the news will come. That's what we'll oblige you with pretty shortly. As much as trending, I will be cooking, and you might just be surprised. It might be a male chef today on trending. Well, I'm just saying, I'll let the cat out of the bag yet. But anyway, let's go on a break.